And geez, what is going on in the Vidit game? It exploded. We had an Archangel.
What?
We had an Archangel I love, which is a very sharp line, but very
Yeah.
theoretical. I think this is all theory, what's happening, by the way. So I would ask everybody to temper their expectations. I'm pretty confident this is probably some drawn line. A5, yeah, this is classic stuff. Knight A5 relinquishes the hold on the E5 pawn. H3. So I've seen all of this. White sacks the pawn, black takes it. D5. And now the fireworks start. Okay, the knight on C6 can't move. Bishop E3, DC. It looks like white's winning a piece, but black goes knight F2. Queen moves up to E2. All of black's pieces are hanging. Knight H3, king H1, knight F2. I guess white has a draw if he wants it here. Or maybe not. King G1, there's knight G4. So rook F2, bishop F2, queen F2, bishop C6, knight E5. And this is what we have.
Yeah, and Duda leaves the board, and Vidit seems like he's out of his prep.
I guess he's out of his prep. This is not a great spot to be out of your prep in.
Is it possible that King G1's a novelty, or is that like a main move?
Well, King G2, I mean, the engine shows King G1 is a clearly superior move to King takes G2. I would imagine this has still happened, or maybe that it's just trying to remember stuff. Now, one plausible continuation is if white castles, then knight F7, and we get more craziness. Now, by the way, I want to take this opportunity to say that if you're following the game on chess.com/events and you want to know more about an opening, you have a situation like this, you don't have to go anywhere. Chess.com has a built-in openings tab that you can press. And let me get to the official game score. I've just pressed it. It tells you the name of the line, and it tells you how many tournament games happened with this position. So if we go back a little bit, we can see, for example, that there are 3 games, 4 games, knight H3, king H1. This all happened. 1 game. Bishop takes C6, according to the chess.com openings tab, is a novelty. So you can find out a lot about an opening. You can look at all of the games on the right. That's how we do it. I'm a little bit worried for Vidit here.
No JK. Yeah, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing major is happening there. We'll obviously keep checking in. Queen F6 played by Mr. Vidit, who now gets up from his chair. How about them apples? But you might get the same thing. Knight F7, Queen F2, King F2. Rook F8. Black can't castle here. I love it when one side castles with a knight on F7, but there's no need to do that.
I had a bad memory of that. When I was a kid, I think I was 13. I thought I was winning with my knight on F7 and my opponent castled, which I didn't see. And then I was lost.
Right. No, it's one of the scariest things when you castle. It does look familiar. This is exactly the same position that we were discussing.
Right.
Just through a slightly different order of moves. Okay, back at the FIDE World Cup quarterfinals are ongoing. We've got some games heating up for you right here. Let's start with the game between Duda and Vidit, Ben, which is going directly along the path. Wait a minute. Let me refresh. It is going directly along the path that we had predicted. Not that there was any choice. And there we go. We have that endgame with the knight against 3 pawns, which we sort of intuitively believed is for choice for white. And part of the reason behind that, the pawns are not very mobile. I mean, the king is on the same side as black's connected passers. And the knight has, a good amount of potential here. It can land on B4 at some point. White's rook is going to be active very soon. I think white's playing for a win here. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No, I agree. This is, I would definitely take white here. I like white quite a bit, actually. I think Vidit's going to have to struggle to draw this position.
Yeah. Something went a little bit haywire in Vidit's preparation, or it was the other way around. We saw the novelty, which apparently was Bishop, but it was Vidit's novelty. So maybe he had missed something or forgotten something. But in any case, I don't think he's anywhere near lost or even in big trouble. I think he just needs to be very, very careful here. As for how he puts his pieces, I mean, rook E8 is very tempting as a starting move, just to prevent this knight from coming to E4. Obviously, this threatens rook E2, but white's probably going to give a check on F1. And I don't know, king G6. Maybe it isn't so bad. for black. It's hard to get a handle on a position like this.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard for white to attack that weakness on a6. That's more of a long-term thing. I'm also wondering, who wants to trade rooks here?
Right. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Well, because of the tactics, I think it might be white. So, for example, if white plays knight b3, rook e2, rook e2 takes. Now, here black has to be super careful. If black just closes his eyes and plays e5, knight d4 is happening, and here we go. That pawn on a5 I mentioned is going to be killer. But black can play c5 and prevent knight d4.
Right.
And the knight just might be unable to access some of the key squares that he needs to access in order to, to sack on b5. So I don't know. Very complicated. Very complicated position.
The players who leave the board always seem super confident. The player at the board always seems like they're suffering.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Their hands are always over their head. I feel like that's the pose adopted by a player whose opponent is walking. Duda, yeah, he is. No, Vidit has that full concentration. I'm not looking anywhere but the board kind of expression.
Yeah, and the one good thing for the players is they've played a lot of moves already and they have a lot of time on their clock. So it's actually possible to play pretty accurately if you're playing a good game. In a lot of games, when it gets to move 25, 30, you want to play good moves, but your clock sort of prevents you. But here the clock's not preventing them from taking as much time as they want and finding the right plan.
Definitely. I'd say a draw is the likeliest result here, but it's not a dead draw or anywhere close. This is a very unbalanced end game. It can go, all three results are possible here.
So rook b8, king f2. Oh, the king went to g6.
Yeah, the king went to g6.
Yeah, what happened the last three moves? It seems a little.
Let me refresh. Maybe that was me making.
It seems odd with. Okay, the rook check. Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, slightly different. Yeah, rook e8, rook f1 check, then king g6 and king f2.
Right. Yeah, I still like white, and I think I like white because I don't know what to do with black.
The question to my eye is, how does black? Which pawns does black push? Does black do anything, or does he sort of try to keep the status quo, see how white positions his knight? Maybe you want to throw in a move like h5, but it does sort of weaken the g5 square also. So white could respond with something like rook g1, followed by knight f3, for example, and the g pawn is going to find it very, very difficult to cross that g5 square.
Yeah, the one thing black has in his favor is that rook and knight versus rook is a relatively easy draw. So, trading pawns on the queen's side gets it closer to a draw. But the one thing I don't like is black's pawns just aren't dangerous. And if black doesn't get his pawns to the 4th and 5th rank and put one under some pressure, eventually you would expect the extra piece would tell. And that's why I think it's tougher to play black. And that's why he looks like he's suffering a little bit.
Yeah, of course, their first game ended in a draw, so winner takes all here in this game.
Winner, vegan dinner. Yeah.
Nice. Now, what we were thinking, or what I had mentioned, is rook g1.
And knight f3, yeah.
King somewhere and knight f3. And slow down the progress of the pawns. But now there's some b4 ideas, trying to strike on the other side while the knight is gone. cb, I guess the idea is rook b8, but that's a very computerish idea. Not easy to see from a distance. And who agrees with me about Sam's position being dangerous? Some dude named Robert Hess. I don't know who that is.
Who?
I don't know.
Is that an imaginary friend?
It is.
It sounds like you just made the name up. Like you took the word chess and you're like, Robert Hess. That's what it sounds like you did.
And you know me better than I know myself.
Yeah. Usually the Indian fans are numerous. So I hate to say it because I'm going to get a lot of hate mail, but I predict Duda is going to win this game.
I think people can understand that white is better, and Vidit's obviously a beast, but
I like interviewing Vidit too. He's such a nice guy to interview. Yeah,
he really is. But the reality of the position is that currently white is better. I think white holds more winning chances than black does, and Vidit's starting to dip on the clock a little bit. Only 10 more moves until time control, though. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Right.
This is looking very dangerous for Vidit. And if he ends up losing this game, he's definitely going to have to revisit that opening, because despite his preparation, something seemed to go wrong.
Yeah, even if he draws, it was a very unpleasant experience for him.
Right. And yeah, Vidit is still thinking.
That's really bad when your opponent plays knight d3, the most obvious move, and then you sit there forever. I mean, he wants to just...
Yeah, it's infuriating when your opponent's ideas are so simple. It's funny because Vidit means he sees in Russian. And that's a pretty accurate reflection of Vidit because he sees everything. But
there's some things we don't want to know, important things. Yeah, I mean, white has two really simple plans: win that a pawn, or if black plays rook a8, then win the g pawn, move the king and play knight f4. And they both seem to just win if you can do either one.
Yeah, this just seems close to lost already for Vidit, and I think that's reflected in his thinking time. There comes g5. He's trying to generate counterplay, which I think is a very sensible approach.
Right.
He's a machine. King h1. He predicted it. Maybe Bigfoot should be commentating instead of me, instead of us. Rook a1, c5, knight a6, b4. Now apparently knight takes b4 wins on the spot. Yeah, that's not a difficult line. Actually, it's more difficult than it seems because white promotes first. Black does promote rook a1 and c1, but the celebration is short-lived. Apparently, white's got mate here.
Yeah, this looks like black's king is pretty wide open.
I mean, intuitively, it's not hard to determine that white is winning, but calculation here is required. I mean, it's not enough to just sort of say, the king is exposed. Usually, these positions are losing.
Yeah, because the king. Yeah, I mean, because the king can't ever go to the c file. You lose your queen. And it looks like you get mated because the queen and rook can't defend against mate. I think it's just mate.
Well, the thing is, white can get a rook versus queen situation, but probably white can get a better version of it.
Right.
Of course, like Duda will probably just do this and just win. But c takes b4 is a lot worse. Now, if you play cb and then you just move the knight, Vidit's idea is very ingenious. I think he wants to play b3. Maybe this is still winning.
Yeah.
a6, rook a2, and now the position becomes a lot more unclear. So this is a very critical moment for Duda. And we are back. World Cup action. And we have Duda against Vidit. And Jan-Krzysztof Duda has indeed executed that sequence, starting with knight takes b4. And this is incredible calculation by Duda, very confident. But for him, this is stuff that he does, for warm-up. He saw that entire line. You can see Fedoseev watching this. He's seen it all the way through. He's seen that he wins black's queen at the very least. This is all very forced. And Vidit might resign here. He might make a... I don't think he's going to resign here. I think he's going to wait until Duda wins his rook.
Yeah, I think if they get queen versus rook, he won't resign. But if he gets mated, then he'll get mated.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't resign queen versus rook. So... I would lose, but I wouldn't.
No, I would definitely not resign. I once played somebody who resigned that, but especially when, knockout is on the line, there's no point in
right. Yeah.
Veselin, I mentioned that earlier. There's no point in not playing. But Duda will be the first Polish player in history, first Polish semifinalist in the history of the Chess World Cup, which is an incredible achievement. He has a lot of fans in Poland and across the world. So does Vidit. Vidit has had an amazing run, but he just Duda has his number. Duda has played very well historically against Vidit. I think there's something like 4-0. There are certain players that you're just not comfortable against. It happens. All right.
Michael McDonald quip. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're watching Vidit, and I guess he's got more than 2 seconds, but has he made a move? He still hasn't made a move. And Duda's going to initiate the sort of ladder sequence that we had been talking about.
King a5 was played.
Apparently, queen b7 is an act. Well, I don't know. No, mate in 53. Wow. Duda playing very. Oh, wait, but it's mate. Queen b8, queen a7, queen b8. Oh, he just wandered immediate mate, but it doesn't even matter. I mean, that was completely.
Oh, he needed to play king a4 there?
Yeah, he needed to play king a4, and we're about to see resignation. He needed to play king a4 so that he could hide.
Right.
Sorry, so that he could hide on a2. Queen B8, King A2, Rook A7. Oh, but this is over. Queen A3. This is over anyway because white just wins the rook. Yeah. So this is winning anyway. Queen B8, and Vidit's going to let himself get checkmated here.
Don't resign. That's not nice. He's going to resign.
He's going to resign. There it is. Handshake. Duda wins. Jan-Krzysztof Duda, the first Polish player.
Tough game for Vidit.
Yeah, for sure. And that opening, he just got off on the wrong foot. Great preparation by Duda to get a better endgame. An excellent technique to convert it.
Technique, yeah.